All right, I'm so glad to be back with you again today. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about, is career stress burning you out and impacting your confidence? Now, we're going to take this topic, it's huge, and we're going to break it up into a couple parts. So, this part is part one. Now, have you ever experienced burnout in your career? I know it's a very common scenario. Some people may be blessed to not have ever had career burnout, but I can tell you about it speaking from experience in my own career, as well as working with thousands of women who've experienced career burnout. It can hijack you at any time in your career, and it can happen to anyone, especially women who feel overwhelmed with issues related to achieving career success and feeling like sometimes they may be compared to their male counterparts. And so there is this underlying and overwhelming pressure, if you will, to continue to produce by any means necessary. Now, career success doesn't have to be an all or nothing kind of thing, right? But sometimes it can feel that way, especially if you are living a lifestyle that has you somewhat out of balance and out of alignment. So part of the work that I do in working with high achieving women is to help them to find that alignment, not just in their professional life, but so that it is an extension into their personal lives. We as women, oftentimes because we are wearing multiple hats, we tend to really overlook how much we may be impacted by things like work performance, and how this can derail our focus and even cause us to have this kind of outward in kind of perspective about ourselves and how we're performing. And because we are in this comparison trap, if you will, it's easy to lose track of what you're doing for yourself or what you need to do for yourself, and how that may positively or negatively impact your career. But I want to kind of take you along this journey as we discuss in today's episode, some ways that you can get at helping to reduce the impact that something like career stress or burnout is having upon you in your career, but also to feel like you can have control over it, okay? So if you don't feel like you're absolutely perfectly qualified for that next level position, it's okay. There may be some individual work that you have to do. But I think the first thing that is most important is being able to help you raise your level of self-awareness when it comes to being able to really ascertain, do you have what it takes to get to the next level? And as you're thinking about achieving that next level goal, and for many of you, this may be something that is life-changing for you to get that next level opportunity, you have to be willing to manage yourself, your thought life, and how this achievement-oriented goal about getting to that next level or getting to that next promotional opportunity, how it may be affecting your mental health. So stress and burnout is a real thing. It's a phenomenon that exists. It impacts working people, working women in particular, but also in of itself, it is a phenomena that has to be managed internally as well as externally. So managing your environment is important in regards to the expectations that others have upon you, your organizational company, even the position you may currently be serving in, or the one that you're thinking about going to. Thinking about, what is expected at this next level, and am I able to provide that? Am I willing to provide that? And how is that going to change my life or the way things are happening for me right now? And then you also have to be willing to, like I said, manage that internal piece for yourself about the mindset piece. How important is it to you to be able to get to that next level, that next opportunity, or that transition period? And when we talk about sacrificing, even for the position, there's some deals that we make with ourselves on an internal level about what we are willing to live without, and maybe even sometimes what we're willing to do in order to be able to get to that next level. But one of the things you have to also think about is, what does it take to maintain the right kind of mindset to be successful at that next level? And if you're currently experiencing stress or burnout right now where you are, you got to think about what's not working for you on an emotional and mental level. Where did it all go wrong? Okay, what is the source of the pain for you, if you will? What is it that is the sticking point that's keeping you sometimes feeling lacking in motivation about your position, less than productive, maybe even unhappy in your current position? Is it a money thing? Is it an environment thing? Is it a job thing? You just don't like the practical everyday aspects of the job or the environment? Is it too overwhelming or not overwhelming enough? Maybe you're not being challenged where you are. But these are some things to seriously consider because they all impact how you perceive yourself, how you perceive your current experience, and how you perceive your future. The majority of women leaders that are working and leading successfully, they report having heavy workloads, and burnout comes right along with that compared to maybe only half of the men in their respective industry. And these findings can sometimes surprise women because they often believe that they are doing the same amount of work as everybody else, right? But sometimes the reality might be that they're actually doing more. And some of this internal compelled nature that we have to do more might be individually manufactured. It may not be a requirement of the environment, if you will. It may be something that we are pushing ourselves to do because we think that that's going to help us look more leader-like, be more likable, appear to be more competent or more capable, when really that's not the case. There are some things that you can do maybe even better for yourself strategically that won't have you working harder, but have you working smarter. And this is the exact nexus at where I collaborate with women and partner and support them in their desire to get to that next level promotion or opportunity, or even just serve well where they are, is to understand what needs to be done well where they're at so that they can be visible and seen by the right people at the right time doing the right things, but to also get that mindset in place, that confidence piece. Because this confidence gap that can happen when you feel like you're comparing yourself to someone, you have to do more to be able to outshine others or to be seen or to be given those opportunities. It can eat away and erode at your confidence, especially when you're not seeing the active results of that, right? And so this confidence gap can really stifle your potential and even cause you to miss out on opportunities that you were otherwise qualified for because you're so stuck and kind of spinning your wheels on thinking about how you're not good enough or maybe how you don't measure up. So gaining confidence is a key factor when we're talking about being able to reduce the impact of stress and burnout, but it doesn't mean that confidence is the only solution. There's a lot more and a lot more pieces to the puzzle, if you will, that have to be in place in order for you to do this well. And I think the other piece is really clarity, getting clear about how what you offer is unique and needed. And then also being clear, raising that level of self-awareness, as we were talking before, about your boundaries around your time, around your professional life, what you're willing to do, not willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice, all of these things, and understanding at a very core and deep level that you are good enough and that you have what it takes and that it's okay to celebrate your accomplishments. Now, I've shared stories before on this podcast about some of the outstanding and amazing women that I've supported throughout the years. And one that I want to share a story about is germane to this issue. Now, I had been working with a lady we'll call Michelle for this purpose, who was a department head. And she really was on that wheel of the cycle of burnout and stress. And what had happened was that, she'd been serving very successfully for a number of years in her position, but she felt like she was the glue, if you will, for the organization, for her department, for departments that she didn't have any direct oversight over, that she was the go-to person. And as a result of that, she never felt like she could turn that part of her life off. And so that level of stress, it was happening all the time, 24/7. She was tied to a phone and email, the whole thing. And the cycle that she couldn't get off of stress and burnout began affecting her work performance. It affected her relationships with coworkers, and it also began affecting her personal and family life. Matter of fact, she was so stressed out. She had worked for 20 years in her position that she had even thought about just walking away, just leaving it all. And so this is the point at which I met her and began to work with her on first being able to manage the stress and being able to offload some of those negative beliefs that really had nothing to do with her, but it was more so about these faulty beliefs about what she thought she deserved and the value that she thought that she brought to the organization. So I want to ask you this. If you're dealing with stress and burnout right now, that's impacting how you're serving in your current position, or maybe even impacting how you see yourself going forward in your career, what are you telling yourself about the situation? Because those thoughts, those beliefs that are coming through, this is the area where you need to start investigating more about those beliefs. Because this belief that you have that you may not be good enough, so you have to prove yourself, or that the company or organization can't survive without you, or there isn't anywhere else that you could get paid this much to do what you do, so you have to either put up or shut up, or something like this level of sacrifice is what it takes in order to work and be at this level. These beliefs that you have, some of them may be faulty beliefs, okay? And they are tied to something even deeper. And oftentimes they have to deal with issues related to self-worth and value. So, these beliefs, no matter what they are for you, these beliefs, they can ultimately direct our thoughts, which then impact our behaviors. If you're acting on the idea that you're not good enough, right? If this is the underlying belief, you're going to stop doing things in your environment that support that belief that I'm not good enough. And the same thing, if you think the company or the organization can't survive without you, that belief that you have to prove yourself, you have to prove your value, you have to prove everything that you do, then your behaviors in the environment are going to start supporting that belief. So you have to be willing to do a little bit of digging and dig deeper about where it is that those faulty beliefs are originating from. The other thing is, once you decide to make a commitment to raise your level of self-awareness in this area, think about how this belief is impacting you. When you think about, I'm not good enough, or I'll never have an opportunity, or this organization can't survive without me, how is this belief impacting you? Is it one in which it keeps you from being able to be open and transparent with others? Does it keep you from having fun in your job? Does it keep you from connecting with people in a social way that helps people to feel like you're someone who's accessible, easy to get along with, that you're a team player? Does it cause you to feel agitated or irritable, and so you show up at home with these negative beliefs? How is it impacting you, this belief? Now, if you're stressed, burnt out, lacking in motivation, all those things that can happen, feeling fatigued, if you're snappy with others, if you're isolating when you're at home or withdrawing from family, this might be how this behavior is showing up. This belief is showing up in a behavior that is then impacting your relationships. And so it's important for you to not just get to the root of it, but to also work on eradicating it. Ultimately, it's up to you to decide when you want to change it. It's up to you to decide exactly when you want to change it. I can't make you change it. You have to decide that the time is now and that you're willing to take action to eradicate these kinds of beliefs. Otherwise, you're going to keep working on that same cycle that's contributing to that stress and that burnout. But you also have to be committed to the outcome. So part of being committed to the outcome is being able to allow yourself to think about the what if. What would change today if things could be different? What would that look like? What would it feel like if I wasn't compelled by this drive and this desire to compare myself to others, or this drive or desire of this negative belief to feel like I had to prove myself? Would I feel freer in my position? Would I have more fun in my job? Would I be happier in my life? What would that outcome be for you? Because that's ultimately what we're working towards, the things that help you to feel good about what you're doing. And just like I helped Michelle with, which we'll talk about later, is I helped Michelle to really connect with the things that were important to her, but also to feel comfortable with making the commitment to work towards the outcome that she envisioned. And it wasn't easy, to say the least. It took some time, but it was well worth it when she was able to achieve that outcome. So, I hope that today's episode has been helpful for you, because if you're experiencing career stress and burnout, it is something that ultimately is not going to end well, right? And so I compel you to try and find a way to work this situation out for yourself so that it doesn't impact your performance, it doesn't impact your life, and it doesn't impact your health. Okay, so stay tuned, because we will be doing a second part to this piece, because this is such an important topic. But that's it for today. My name is Dr. Sanchez. Please let me know how this episode resonated with you. I'm so excited to see the comments that we've been getting on these episodes of late. And, this is an important topic. Career stress and burnout is one of those things that, especially since the pandemic, that we as Americans have been especially aware of, because there's not been this division, this clear line anymore between life and work. And for some of us that are back in the office, and there's the opportunity to have some, geographic division between where we work and where we live, we've been able to compartmentalize again. But for many of us, that goes on, many of us that are still working from home. And so stress and burnout is something that you have to be aware of. We've got to be able to outline some boundaries around it, and to be able to identify some ways to work it out so that it doesn't impact your career, your relationships, or even your health. So again, thank you for watching today. My name is Dr. Sanchez, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.